Yesterday, we built a Bloodhound, not trade signal, although for all intents and purposes, right, it's going to look like a trade signal because Bloodhound's pretty simple, right? It just gives you green buys and red sell signals. That's all it does, right? But, it's how you use those Bloodhound's output, So this is what I would call a permissive signal. So it's not a trade signal to open up an automated trade. It's a permissive signal so that when the trader uses BlackBird in a discretionary manner, right, for manual trading here with BlackBird. In other words, using, the trade buttons here, right, the go long and go short trade buttons up here, that's manual trading. So this Bloodhound signal, we're going to set this up as a permissive to allow, which will allow or deny the entry order to be submitted, right, to the market, right? So if there's no Bloodhound signal, then the entry order will not do anything. If there is a Bloodhound signal, when the go long, go short buttons are pressed, then the entry order will be executed, right? So so this is slightly different, than the typical questions we get here. Right. So again, this is for manual trading here when the trader presses the go long or go short buttons here. So that's what we're going to implement today. So we're going to show you how to set up the entry order, with this Bloodhound permissive signal. And then the profit target and stop loss is, pretty basic standard stuff there. So nothing special with that. So, so the real topic here is setting up the entry order so that it waits for the Bloodhound permissive signal, and then it will fire off. Let's see here. Let me do one last thing here before we get started here. So you can see from the description there that this is using an HMA moving average. There we go. 21 period. All right, cool. Let's just get that on the chart for convenience there. Great. All right, so let's get BlackBird open. All right, so since this is a permissive for manual trading, as I've been alluding to, we're not using the trade signals, right? The signals are for automated trading. So obviously you don't want to stick anything in here if you want to do manual trading. So we're just going to jump straight to the order sets here. And let's see here. So Randy wants to use a limit order here. So let's set up a limit order. There we go, a limit order created. And now we also have the screenshot that was sent in with this question here that explains how this should operate. So the concept here is, looking for, I guess, a bar that, kind of crosses the HMA, and it looks like, the market might find a reversal point here. And so manually pressing the go long button, while this bar is forming, right? And then if it does close up, and then with the next bar, as the next bar opens, and hopefully the HMA has also reversed up as this bar has opened, then we can see here, right? We want to wait for the market to move at least 2 ticks higher from the open, right? So from the open plus 2 ticks higher. And then once the market reaches that price level, then submit the entry order there. All right, so that's how this is all supposed to work out, right? And so Bloodhound is monitoring the various conditions here, right? And that's why we call it a permissive entry signal here, right? Because the Bloodhound signal is not it's not a trade signal that's automatically submitting this. right? In order for the entry order to go in, somebody has to manually hit the go long button there, right? But what BloodHound is doing here, we can kind of see from the requirements here is, right, BloodHound's verifying that there were 2 up bars, right? First, there were 2 up bars. The HMA did reverse up or inflect up, right? So, yeah, so we used a inflection solver here to check for that HMA to be reversing upwards. And then BloodHound also is looking at the open price, right, of this bar here and monitoring the high of the bar to see if the high ever reaches 2 ticks, right, above the open. And so when all of those various charting conditions, are all true, then BloodHound generates a long signal there, right? And that long signal will be used to place the entry order here. All right, so let's finish setting up this entry order. All right, so we have a limit order here. And sorry, I need to go into the initial placement here, right? So yeah, so right, so where we want this limit order to be placed is take the open price and then add 2 ticks, right? So right up at that level is where the entry order is to be placed there. So we need to set that up in the initial placement here, right? So right now we can see the limit order is being placed at the closing price. So we need to adjust that so that we're using the open price, and then we want to add 2 ticks, right? So there we go, positive 2 ticks above the open, right? Now, before we get going too far down the road here, I realized here that I don't have everything set up exactly the way I need it here, right? So when you're working with a bar that is forming, right? So in order to evaluate whether the market has moved 2 ticks above the open, right? You have to be working on the bar that's building, right? Obviously, we don't want to wait for this bar to close, right? This bar has just opened and is forming. So what that means is that I need to go into my strategies window here, and I need to make an adjustment to BlackBird. So I need to disable BlackBird, and I need to change the calculate, right? Because we don't want to wait for the bar to close before submitting that entry order, right? So we need BlackBird to operate either on each tick or on price change. So I'm going to set it to on price change. That should be good enough there. And then enable it. So this calculate setting, from NinjaTrader, determines whether you're working on the bar that's building, or are you only working with bar data that has closed, right? So that's basically what this is doing. Do we have access to the bar data as a bar is building, or do we only have access to bars that are closed? So yeah, so there you go. So switching the calculate to on price change means we now have access to the bar data of the bar that's building, so we can get the open of this bar that's building and do those comparisons that we need. So, and more importantly, submit that entry order in real time as well. So, all right, let's see, that's enabled. Okay, good. Let's get that enabled again. So there we go. All right, and also just a side note here, right? This BloodHound signal was also built with BloodHound with BloodHound's calculate set to on price change as well. So, all right, let's get things back open. There we go. So, all right, so there's our location or price calculation for the limit entry order. Now we need to use the place here, right? Because we only want this entry order placed after these conditions, become true, right? And what condition are we looking for? We are looking for a BloodHound signal, right? So in other words, only place this entry order after this BloodHound signal occurs here. So this is where we're going to load in that BloodHound system for that trade permissive. And let's see here. All right, we're gonna sort by date. So there we go. So there is yesterday's BloodHound workshop file. Let's load that in. There we go. And so the logic template was this one, the HMA 21 entry permissive. There we go. So that's what we're looking for. And next, the signal trigger mode. So, right, so these BloodHound signals, were built in the same direction as the trade. So in other words, right, so like right here, when the HMA reversed up, right, and so we'd want to go take a long trade here, and so the BloodHound signals were generated to generate a long signal from BloodHound, right? So so you can kind of mix and match here, so if you are using a BloodHound system where maybe the signals are in the opposite direction, so maybe you have built an exit signal within BloodHound, so the signals are all backwards, and so instead of having to rebuild your BloodHound signals, you can just say, okay, well, these BloodHound signals were built backwards, so I'm looking for signals in the opposite direction of the trade, right? So you can kind of mix and match here whatever you need coming from BloodHound there. But typically we're going to be using signals in the same direction, right, as the trade that we want there. So there we go. That's it. That's how we load in those BloodHound permissive signals there, right? And so this limit order will now sit and wait until a BloodHound signal occurs, right? Now, the other thing is, right, is you don't want BlackBird waiting forever to submit this long order here. So whenever you use the place option here, you also need to use the cancel, right? At some point, you need to tell NinjaTrader to just skip on the trade, at some point, you just need to say, okay, bail on this trade here. And so, the easiest thing to say is, okay, after so many bars, just kind of skip the trade here. Now, I'm going to set this to 5 because, the way this question was asked, it was deliberately said here, with the inflection solver, use a displacement of 5, and actually what this should have been was this should have said a look back period. Let's adjust that now. There you go. Look back period of 5, meaning that this permissive signal only has a 5-bar opportunity from when the HMA reverses down or reverses up, right? So going back to this, right? So when these permissive signals were built, basically there was a 5-bar limitation after the HMA reverses up, right? These bars, or I should say the market has a 5-bar opportunity to actually create this entry signal, or this permissive entry signal there. So, so knowing how, this permissive logic, was designed, then, I can take that and say, well, then obviously that should apply to when this limit order should be canceled, right? So cancel it after 5 bars. Although, yeah, because we're discretionarily using the buttons here, we actually need to add one to this. So because if you press the go long button on this bar, this is actually bar number 1. And the way this was built is it actually allows 5 bars afterwards, right? So from BlackBird's counting, this is bar 1 plus another 5 bars, right? So that equals 6 there. Okay, so there. And of course, you don't have to worry about getting this, counting the number of bars correct the first time. If you're not sure if it should be 5 bars, 6 bars, experiment, test it out, test things and see. And then you can kind of dial in, exactly how many bars you should allow to go by before canceling there, right? So don't worry about getting it correct the first time there. So, and just to kind of expand upon the cancel, right? There's lots of other ways, that you could evaluate, the chart to cancel things as well. But this one, I think a simple bar counting is good enough. Yeah, if we really wanted to get elaborate, well, since this is being used for manual trading, you could obviously at any time hit the close button, right? And that'll cancel this limit order, if it hasn't been submitted yet. So you can always manually cancel that, but you could also go in, we could use the advanced tab here and also check to see if one of these bars closes below the HMA, right? Like, yeah, actually like right here on the chart, this is perfect, right? We have a bunch of up bars, and let's see, it actually looks like this probably would have submitted the limit order, but it may not have been filled, right? Because the market only got 2 ticks higher. So there's a good chance that that limit order did not get filled. And then the market comes down and closes below the HMA, so we could add an extra requirement here, and we can compare price to an indicator, right? Exactly what we do, compare the close of the bar to the HMA. Yeah. So, we could do that here. There's the HMA, put in the 21 period. So, and yeah, call it good there. So we can, compare the close of the bar. Although keep in mind, remember we adjusted or we changed BlackBird's calculate setting. So so this closing price coming from NinjaTrader is actually the close of the current bar that's building, right? So for example, you could get, let's see if I have a good example. Yeah, here we go. So let's look at this headstone. I think it's a headstone doji there, right? So it closed underneath the HMA, but obviously while this bar was building, the closing price was above the HMA, right? So if we want to wait for the bar to close, then we actually need to look back 1 bar at the bar that did close. So instead of this close being the current bar, we can adjust the look back period to 2. And so that way we're looking back at the closed bar. And, so that way, as price ticks up and ticks down, if that closing price crosses the HMA, that won't trigger a cancellation by accident. So, obviously devil's in the details here of, maybe some traders might say, okay, yeah, you know what, if the market does cross the HMA, bail on the trade, looks too weak. Or some traders might say, well, yeah, let's wait for the bar to close. So, all depends on, how, how, what condition you want to use there. So, yeah, I'm just going to set it to the close of the bar to be a little more liberal there. Right. So there we go. So we're comparing the close of the closing price, of one bar back. So that'll be the closed bar to the HMA. And so for a long, if the close is if A being the closing price is equal or above B, no, we actually want the close to stay above B, right? B is the HMA. We want it to stay above, that's a valid trade. But if it goes below, so if A goes below B, in other words, the close goes below the HMA for a long trade, right? That's what we're looking for to cancel the entry order. And so for a short trade, we want the opposite condition. So there we go, A above B. There, right? So the point I'm getting to, right, is that there's, lots of different conditions that you can utilize within BlackBird to cancel a pending entry order there, right? So you have all of these, what we call triggers, right? These are triggering conditions, right? So in other words, when the close crosses the HMA, it's going to trigger the cancellation of this entry order. Just like with the place here, right? In the place option, this BloodHound signal triggers the submission or the execution of this limit entry order. So yeah, that's why these are all called triggers, because you're looking for a condition that then triggers some other action, some other behavior, an action. So, all right. So yeah, so looking at just to kind of expand upon that, the theory of triggers here, right? When you go to the trailing rules tab, right, you have a trigger section here, right? Because these are conditions that you're looking for to then trigger some kind of action, right? So typically that action would be move my stop loss, but there's a whole bunch of different actions that you can take. Right, I think the most common one is for trailing stop losses. So you want to keep moving your stop loss order, but you could cancel an order. You could freeze an order in place so that order can no longer move anymore. You could flatten a position, right? Those are the more common actions there. After some kind of triggering condition, has taken place. So that's why these are called triggers. Anyways, okay, we don't want trailing here, so let me turn that back off. There we go. So yeah, that does it. We're done. So yeah, we worked out the hard part. All right, this is the hard part here, setting up the entry order, so that yeah, it waits for the BloodHound permissive signal, and then yeah, this order will cancel itself automatically, after so many bars, or yeah, the price crosses below the HMA, and of course, remember, you can always hit the close button and cancel that entry order earlier, instead of waiting for the cancel to do it automatically. So, all right, so now let's set up the rest of this order set. So profit target and stop loss, right? The two exit orders there. So there we go. So 8 ticks. Yeah, so this kind of looks like a little scalping system here. And there we go. All right. Well, sorry. I went through that really quick. Sorry, guys. I know there's a bunch of new people in the room here, so let me slow down. So from the profit target, right, you can see that there is a what we call a quick list menu, right, with predefined profit targets here, right? So you can pick, a tick-based profit target, that's going to default to 10 ticks. And of course, you can go in there and adjust that to however many ticks you want. If you want an ATR-based profit target, then you could use the 2 ATR and then go in and adjust the multiplier to be whatever you want it to be, 1 ATR, 4 ATRs, whatever, right? And then here's another one, that the one on the bottom is essentially an indicator-based profit target. So in this case, we're using the swing highs and lows indicator to set your profit target, right? So those are just kind of to get you started, and then you can go in and adjust them, to customize them, to what you want. So, and then, if nothing here seems to work out, then you could obviously go to custom, and you just have to plug in all the information that you want. So I use the 10 tick one here, right? Because we are using an 8 tick profit target there. So, and then just go into the initial placement, right? And then I can just adjust the tick based offset there. There we go. So that's it for the profit target, piece of cake. And the stop loss is going to be the same. Although, let's see, we do have a trailing, although the trailing is only to execute every 2 ticks. Yeah, so for every 2 ticks the market moves, we want this thing to trail. So, all right. So let's, I'm going to, so I've got a choice here. I could just go with the 10 tick fixed one here and then add the trailing, or I could use this 10 tick stop loss with a break even and trailing. And I can just delete the break even part. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the 10 tick trailing with the break even +1 there to get me started. And then I'm going to go into the initial placement and adjust this from a 10 tick stop loss to an 8 tick stop loss. So there we go. Let's increase that up to -8 ticks. So there we go, 8 tick stop loss. Now let's go into the trailing actions tab here. Let's open that up a little bit. So here we can see this is the break even trailing rule here. And so we don't want to break even. I'll just delete that. And then we're going to adjust this to 8 tick trailing every 2 ticks. So, okay. Yeah, so this trailing here, it's just going to start immediately. So there's no trigger. So this trigger was in here because we had a break even. So so we're going to remove this trigger condition. And let's see, where is it? There it is, none. So we're going to set our triggers to none to remove it. And then the action, right, is, a trailing stop loss basically takes the market's last price minus some kind of an offset. So we need to adjust this from a 10 tick offset again to an 8 tick offset, right? So again, right, we take the market's last price, and then trail it by 8 ticks. Then lastly, we want this to trail every 2 ticks in profit. So we're going to go into the repeat, and we can see here, right, it's set to move, right, repeat every 1 tick of movement in a profitable direction. So we just need to increase that to 2 ticks. So now the market has to move at least 2 ticks before this trailing roll will repeat itself, right? In other words, before the action will kick in and move that stop loss again. So there we go. There's our trail every 2 ticks in profit. All right, we're done. So that was pretty simple and straightforward. That's it. So let's test this out and see how lucky we'll get. Let's see. All right, I'm going to lower this down to a 10 range. So hopefully we'll get a little more quicker action there. And look at that. Oh, shoot. So I at least want an up bar. There. So I hit the go long. Oh, we should also, let's open up the order monitor panel here, right? So you can see, right, the entry order is in a pending state. And yeah, it's going to get canceled here soon. Oh, look at that. You see, it's not canceling. We got bars below. So hold on. Yeah, there was something I overlooked here. I didn't get back to it. So in the cancel, right, we have these 2 cancel conditions: cancel after 6 bars, or if the close, right, goes closes, if the close goes below the HMA. And I forgot to adjust the mode here. So I meant to get back to this. So the mode is set to all simultaneously, right? So in other words, we need 6 bars to have passed, and we need the close to be above below the HMA, all on the same bar. So these are actually 2 independent trigger conditions. So the mode we want is any. So if any one of these conditions occur, right, either one, then yeah, that's what we want. So set the mode to any here. So this mode allows you to basically think of any as like an OR node within BloodHound, right? An OR node in BloodHound means, if anything goes into the OR node, it goes right out. All simultaneously, that is like the AND node within BloodHound, where all of these trigger conditions all have to be true at the same time, right? And then you have other, kind of more advanced, more advanced things where you can say they all have to be true, but in any order. Or you can actually put them in sequence. You can say, okay, this trigger has to trigger first. The second trigger down has to trigger second, and the third trigger down, has to trigger last, right? And you can actually slide here. So you can actually slide these up and down to put them in the right sequence there. So, but yeah, so we want any as the correct mode there. So there we go. So we got that corrected. And look at that. I missed my opportunity. Well, let's see. Maybe we can get a short going here. All right. So we have pending. I think I hit short on this, but on this one. Yeah, I think I hit short there. Now we do need the HMA. Hopefully this doesn't reinitialize the BlackBird there, but I need to change the calculate to on price change so we can see what's happening on the bar that's building. Yeah, there we go. And we didn't get a down bar. Shoot. Well, maybe the market will close above the HMA and we can make sure that our entry order cancels. Well, almost. let me take a look at the market here. See where, let's see. All right, yeah, we are going into a bit of a downtrend. So yeah, so this order might actually execute here. So there's one down bar. So if this is the second down bar, then we have a good chance that this entry order might actually get submitted before the 6-bar cancellation. Yeah, because remember, there we go. And let's see, it obviously did not get placed at the open minus 2 ticks there. Let's see. All right, let me go check that entry order again. Let's see. Yeah, it is set at the open. Current open. Yeah, plus 2 ticks or minus 2 ticks. Oh, right. Oh, shoot. I thought this adjustment was made quite some time ago. So, yeah, so what happened is BlackBird grabbed the open of the bar that I hit the go short button on. And let's see, I thought that behavior was adjusted quite some time ago, where instead of grabbing the bar price, of the bar where you actually press the button there, or maybe a trade signal comes in, and BlackBird was originally designed to grab the bar prices, when a trade signal comes in or you press the button there, because the first design didn't actually have the place and cancel. So those were added, many years after BlackBird was designed. And so, so we realized that, we kind of needed to change the behavior of capturing these bar prices here. So it needs to be on the execution bar, not on the signaling bar. And I thought that was changed, but it does not appear to be the case here. Let's try this again. So I'm going to hit go short. All right, so I went short on that bar. All right, so there's the open. Yeah, all right. I think too many bars have gone by. Let's try this again. Oh, there you go. So I actually hit the, let's see, it grabbed, it grabbed that open price clearly. Yeah, I thought I pressed on this bar, but I must have pressed go long on while that bar had not quite closed yet. Let's see here. Price changed. Well, I'm going to make an adjustment here and see if this makes a difference. I don't think it will, but all right. So I'm going to change the calculate to on each tick. And in theory, that shouldn't make any difference, but we'll see. Let's see. All right, let's go long. Oh, short. I mean, sorry. Let's go short. Yeah, I think we should have gotten an execution on this bar because we got two down bars. Let's see, we got the reversal. Yeah, so the HMA reversed down, I think, on this bar, maybe this bar. All right, let's add BloodHound to the chart here so we have something to look at. All right, so BloodHound, price change. Let's load yesterday's workshop file. And we want the HMA 21. There we go. All right. So just, oh, okay, interesting. So there actually wasn't a signal on that bar. Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense, right? So, yeah, yeah. So there's our first short signal. So basically, yeah, this second opportunity was missed there. Yeah, so only one, yeah, only one trade per direction. So there you go. So only one signal per direction. So, all right. Yeah, so we missed that one. Okay, we'll try this again. All right, I think we're going to be entering some consolidation here on the NQ. So I should have an opportunity to go long. And our entry order got canceled. All right, well, yeah, so we missed that opportunity. All right, if this takes too long, I'm going to switch to the simulated data feed. And let's go short. Actually, that's a little too early to go short yet. Yeah, all right, let's go short now. The market blew it. All right, well, actually, no, the HMA didn't roll over yet. Interesting. All right, let's close this. All right, let's go short now. Come on, Ninja. There we go. All right. All right. We still have an opportunity to go. Oh, it canceled. Let's see. Let's go short. And there we go. There's a signal. And it didn't submit. Well, Randy, as you can see, yeah, we're coming across various problems here. If I go long, and oh, I am getting some trades here, but my flags died. Yep. Yep. All right, my flags died. So that's the problem. Okay. Yeah, so we know that they're with the current release version, we know that there's a problem with the flag still. So that is, I think, in this next update, yeah, there is another fix to address the flag issue. So that's my problem is I think, yeah, we were seeing trades were taking place. We just weren't seeing the flags here. So let me save this out and I'm going to restart Ninja. Yeah, to try and fix that flag issue. Let's see. All right, so let's save this out. Yeah, I'm going to, I think this is going to take too long waiting for the market to go back down to downtrend. So let's switch over to the simulated there. All right, I think I'm good to go. So let's pull the market down. All right, there we go. We got one down bar. Let's go short. All right, another tick. And nope, sorry, the HMA has not rolled over yet. Yeah, it did not roll over. Okay, so it's rolling over now. And all right, yeah, so this kind of confirms it that um, BlackBird is capturing the open price of the bar that you click, the go button on. Yeah, so we can see. That's why I've been drawing this line there is at the open of the bar that I pressed the button. Yeah, we can clearly see it's 2 ticks below that open. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll have to bring this up with Jeremy and well actually I'll check the change log and see if this that behavior was indeed changed or it just hasn't been gotten around to yet. So, but yeah, at some point, we do have a work item, you know, um, where Blackbird no longer holds on to the bar data, captures the bar data when you press the button. Instead, it waits for the actual execution and then grabs the bar data. Um, yeah, so as mentioned, when there we go. Yeah, so when you're using the place option to delay your entry order, yeah, obviously that brings about a different behavior where I think most traders want to use the bar prices, where the order gets executed on, not, not the bar price where you press the button. So, yeah, so it's things like that, man. You add, what seems to be a simple option, and then it kind of changes how you have to restructure other, internal uh, behaviors within the code. Yeah. So we'll check on that. But in any case, you know, um, the way this is built out, once that behavior is changed, then you should get what you want, what you're looking for there, Randy. Yeah. So, all right. And this was saved out to a file. So so this can be downloaded later on today. So let's see. All right. So that is it. Yeah, it's not actually working as of today. Um, and so yeah, it might work after this update. I'm not sure. I didn't actually see any work item, for changing this behavior. So I can't say for certain. I say, yeah, Randy's got a comment here. Yeah, if you put the entry order on the HMA, it works. Correct. Yeah, yeah. The entry you can get the entry order to follow the HMA, no problem.